What's going on, everybody? Yeah, FYB presents Wise Word Wednesdays, a quick live stream to help you get closer to accomplishing your dreams. I'm your host, Joe Spider, and I do represent the fresh. Listen, right now, I want to say thank you to each and every person who decided to tune in, whether you're watching on Instagram Live, whether you're watching on YouTube Live, whether you're watching on Facebook Live, or whether you're listening to an audio recorded version. I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Just a couple folks that's popped in already. Shout out to my guy BC. What's going on, big dog? I see you. What's going on, E? Man, we're gonna be in there tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Talking about these sports. Shout out to your Celtics that's doing the dang thing. Don't trip. My Golden State Warriors finna get that dub tonight as well. But shout out to y'all, man. Right now, I'm in a remote location. I see Mixed Barbie. You just hopped in the chat as well too, or hopped in and logged on. So I appreciate you being here. I'm in a remote location for sure. Right now, I'm also rocking that Live Love Life, the FYB hoodie that we released earlier this year. So we're excited about that too. But yeah, thank you so much for listening in and joining the Wise Word Wednesday show. I got an exciting episode for y'all this evening. But if you're not already, I'm asking you to please hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and do that right now for your boy, real quick. Especially if we're talking about going to the Wise Word Wednesday YouTube channel. Follow us on Wise Word Wednesday. Listen, we got the huddle up with my dogs and E. We got, of course, you're gonna get the Wise Word Wednesday, what I'm saying, with me. And I got a special guest today that I'm gonna introduce or reintroduce, should I say, to y'all. And then I also got some of the homies, man. We bringing out, man. I'm telling you, I'm trying to give y'all more and more content. So definitely go to the Wise Word Wednesday YouTube channel, hit that subscription, especially because I know my folks be in the comments during the live. And so I want y'all to be able to post the comments so I can post it actually during the show so that the audience can see it as well too. But I have a great show for y'all this evening. Today is, like I said, I'm going to reintroduce to some of y'all and introduce to others and present to some folks, man. This is a person who um, has been on an amazing journey, and I've had him on the show before. I've definitely been on his show as well too, and I love to see the elevation of this individual, knowing him for quite some time, and just seeing the level of progress that he's made and the hustling that he's been doing. And when I say hustling, I'm not talking about like trying to hustle people out of a dollar. I mean hustling as in like being on the grind, being about the work, handling business, continuously trying to do what he can to uplift himself, to uplift those around him, the people that are within his community. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce the creator of Play Black Wall Street. Was actually Black Wall Street the board game, but I'm telling you to play Black Wall Street the board game. My man,
Yeah, let
what's
them
going
know
on?
what's going on, Joe Spider. It's a beautiful, amazing Wise Word Wednesday, man.
Yes, sir, man. So first and foremost, man, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. If I'm being transparent, I told you before, like I was doing some wind sprints right before this. I thought I can still be Usain Bolt because I got that Jamaican in me, and nah, I definitely pulled my right quad, and yeah, we're gonna see on my right hamstring, and we're gonna ice it later on, get some Epsom salt. But I'm feeling overall, I'm blessed to be here still, blessed to keep on the legacy of my family, and blessed to be on this amazing show.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you, man. And I know you have a super busy schedule. So I won't take up too much of your time, but I want to talk about your journey, right? And
Yeah,
I know, like I said, we've had you on the show before with your wife. Shout out to St. Clair as well
shout
too.
out, shout out.
Much love to you, family. But let's talk about your journey in creating Black Wall Street, and then
Okay.
how you went from starting off with it just being you or an idea. Let's start with the vision, and
Yeah,
then it became you and Sinclair, and then it became you and Sinclair, or now it's you, Sinclair, and employees, right? You
yeah.
have people who do your editing, you've got people who do your recording, you've got folks who actually do teaching workshops as well with you. So talk to me about just how that transition has been for you.
Man, it's been a journey, and You let me know how far into the weeds, how far into the details you want me to go. I'm a storyteller. I can easily go all the way into the trenches. So feel free to pull me out and like be like, hey, Devon, fast forward, bro. Keep going.
You good. Let me tell you. Listen, first off, for those who don't know, this is going to be a regular conversation. We're going to
Good.
keep doing this consistently for you all. So this won't be the last time, even, and it's definitely not the first time that we're going to have you on. But you can go as deep as you want. We got an hour, bro. So you're more than welcome to go
Easy.
as far as you want to take it.
Okay, okay. I'll start off with graduating from UC Davis. Myself and the Queen wanted to figure out some way that we can support our community. Proud member Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, was able to meet you, I think, in like 2000 and what,
12.
13,
12.
12? Yeah,
Yeah.
at that track meet at UC Davis.
Yeah. Yeah. I still remember that. I remember, bro.
Crazy. Oh man, we both are far away from those people.
Yeah,
Man,
we shouldn't
but
have said the year now that I think about it. Now we should have said that.
it's been 12 years. Goodness gracious, that's wild. That's why my hamstring pulled. You see that?
Exactly.
I was trying to bring
Exactly.
back those track days. Uh, but me and the Queen after graduated from UC Davis were like, all right, how can we still be involved in the community and the same community service that we were doing, the same community building that we were doing at Davis as a part of our organizations? How can we continue after graduation? So we started this company, True Health Forever. All right, and True Health Forever, it had four pillars of health. It had economic health, it had spiritual health, it had social health, and it had economic, I say that, relational health, social health, right? So we were building that company. I was doing blogs. I was recording these terrible, literally terrible YouTube videos online that are still there called Talking in TJ, right? But that was the foundation of building the brand and building the company. And then in 2017, right, a year after graduating from college, I worked at summer camp. It was the UCLA Village Nation summer camp. Village Nation is an organization founded by Fluke Fluker, one of my mentors, dope, amazing dude out of New York. But in that camp, every counselor and every camper needs to choose a camper name. All right. It can literally be any name that you want. It can be Joe Spida. It can be Kobe. It can be Queen. It can be Beyonce. It can be whatever you want. I see you. And the name that I chose to use was Black Wall Street. I was like, hey, everybody call me Black Wall Street. All the students were like, what? What's that? What's Black Wall Street? Is that like the stock market? Is that? So I was like, no, no, no. I explained the history, but then leaving the camp, I was like, man, called the Queen up. Wouldn't it be dope if somehow I can create a board game that taught students the history of Black Wall Street, right? Without them having to read, without them having to take a Black Studies class like I did freshman year back in 2012 to learn this history. How can we gamify this education? So from there, that was the initial thought, the initial vision, right? We made our MVP, minimum viable product, out of a cardboard box. Started doing some research on Black Wall Street, started finding business names, started finding people, entrepreneurs, history facts. There's things that we can gamify and put into a fun game. Here is when like the first partner comes in, right? Because if you don't know, Josiah, I can't draw
Mm.
like at all. Like literally, I can't paint, can't draw. If I try, usually the Queen's like, "What is that?" And I need to come up with some type of abstract definition of what I just drew. Right? It's never right on point.
Okay.
So I hit up Markel, right? Who you know, and a lot of people like he is a graphic design genius. And
Wow, I
this
didn't
is
even know
oh,
he
you
was
didn't know
it.
this part of the story,
No,
bruh.
no. I mean, bro, he's so multi-talented, bro. I'll get him on the show one of these days, but
Oh,
I
that's a
know
fact.
our schedules just be super, crazy. But yeah,
That's a
but I didn't know he did graphic design too. That's dope.
Oh yeah, so he's been doing graphic design. So everything that the chapter has produced from probably 2014 probably to today, you look scroll through all the flyers, the videos, those are mostly Markel. Right? Probably
Wow.
90%. And then he's been doing graphic design for artists, for brands since probably 2012. Like his freshman year at Davis, that was the side hustle. So again, I knew that was his gift. So I gave my man a call. I was like, hey, bro, I got this idea. I want to create a board game based on the history of Black Wall Street. He was like, all right, cool, sounds good. Walked through the concept. He's like, all right, bet. Why you calling me, Devon? I was like, I need you to do the graphics, bro. I can give you the images. I got the sketch, which looked atrocious. I got the sketch. I sent you the sketch. And he was like, all right, bro, I got you. And I gave him an option too. And this is my concept of leadership. This is my concept of mentorship. I like to give people opportunities, but then also give them options with both options completely outlined. All right. I was like, I can pay you straight up for doing this, right? I appreciate your support, appreciate your genius. I can pay you a one-time fee to do this work, or me and you can go in together. I don't pay you anything up front, but you get some type of equity stake in the board game sales in perpetuity.
Well, okay. So let's
He
pause
said,
right
hold on,
there.
hold on, slow down, slow
Pause right
down.
there. So first off, I know a lot of people don't understand what perpetuity is. So shout out to you for having the knowledge of what that particular word is and being able to share that information with somebody like Markel. Because I know that a lot of artists will sign deals in perpetuity and things like that in regards to ownership of their masters, and they don't understand that that basically means forever. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Essentially. So shout out to you for that. But I do love the fact that you came with this idea and telling him like, hey, which also I've heard of artists doing this as well too, in regards to music. I've heard of like Ti saying things like this. We're like, hey, I
Mhm.
can give you a lot of money right now, but that means you get nothing on the back end.
Right.
Or I can give you a very little bit right now, and that means you get more on the back end. But you can't have both.
You can't have
You can't
both.
have
Make
both.
a choice.
You know what I mean? So I think it's real that you're able to give him that, because I'm sure that internally process for him a certain way to where he moving forward and doing business, and now obviously with his success as an artist, now he's able to take this and say, okay, I know how this could potentially benefit. Okay, I just wanted to make
Yep.
sure I shout that out. So go ahead,
Of
Bill, continue.
course. Of course. And he answered immediately. He was like, bro, if I take the money up front, that means I would not have been listening to anything you've taught me over the years, right? Because I've been talking kind of financial literacy even before creating the board game. So he was like, I believe in the vision. I want the equity stake 100%. So that be able to bring in into Black Wall Street, the board game, creating the graphics behind the game. And to this day, we've had the first edition game, or technically we've had the prototype, the first edition, the second edition, the masterpiece, and now the classic edition. And he's helped to design and produce every single game so far. Hopefully, Markel, you keep on rocking with us. You see the checks clear, and we go keep we go keep doing this. But that was the kind of the start. Um, is there more like production and like testing that you want to learn about there, or should I skip to where the queen now joins the team full time?
Let's talk about the production, because I want to talk about it as incremental as possible,
Okay.
because like I said, this is going to be an ongoing conversation. So we're not going to get through all the way to the end tonight, obviously, because so we're going to continue to move forward and forward. But so talk about those details in regards to like the production of it and how, because you obviously had to go through drafts and things that you
Sure.
might have sent stuff in and was like, it's bad. You know what I mean? Like,
For sure. So we went through 3 iterations of the game before Markel even joined the squad, right? We went through a cardboard box, we went through a Walmart printout, and then another Walmart printout, just to see like can this game work? Can we move around? Do the draw cards make sense? Do the businesses make sense? Is the layout good? And then once we got the layout, we made sure all the game mechanics made sense. Then we went to Markel's for the genius graphic design. After that, it was about testing the gameplay. So we went to, oh man, what was his name? Ruel, man, shout out to you. And actually rewinding even just a little bit before that, my apologies for going out of turn.
you
Um,
good. You good.
Jai, I don't know if you know Jai, of course you know
Yeah.
Jai.
Yeah.
Jai joined the team in 2016 before the board game came up as an intern for True Health Forever, straight up. And he was in charge of blogging and creating like sports and sports health articles. Right. So he joined the team, and that kind of gave us some early management and help us know like how do we work as a team? How do I delegate tasks? How do we give other people access to public posts or to publish posts and stuff of that nature. And that's important because fast forward when we create Black Wall Street, the board game, myself and Jai met with Ruel, who was a game tester, and we played the game for the first time with someone outside of our circle. And
Mm.
this guy was literally, he's a game blogger, game tester. He gave us a lot of good insight onto mechanics to use, mechanics not to use, making it game or age appropriate. So yeah, that was a really good nugget. And then after that, we sent out about 15 prototypes to families that were within our Facebook group, right? So if you are trying to test a book, a fashion brand, a game, or anything like that, highly recommend you having some type of group, some type of community that you can test with, right? Get some good survey feedback. So we had our Facebook community. Shout out to Play Black Wall Street. We appreciate y'all. And out of those 15, we got some really good feedback, right? Most people were loving the game, but one family in particular, Josiah, was like, we have a problem. Our entire family is colorblind, and
Ooh.
we can't tell the difference between these businesses and these cards. We were like,
Wow.
wow, right? Never, our perspective, right? Being able, like, we would never thought of how do you distinguish the different businesses if you can't see color. So that's when we went back to the drawing board, made some icons that make it very easy to distinguish the businesses. And now, whether you can see color, you can't see color, you can still know the different business structures within the game. All right.
I think I just want to pause there again because I think that's critical in regards to the developmental piece, right? When people are talking about having this idea and having this amazing idea that is an amazing idea, that's a gift from God.
Facts.
Just because it's a gift, it doesn't mean that it is ready
Mm,
to be shown off to the world. Oftentimes, especially in this, the social media era, right? People are so in a rush to get it out there that they just put it up for everyone. But you cultivated a particular group, people who were willing to give honest feedback, people who were willing to take the time to genuinely play the game and not just have you send it to them and then they don't even really play it. They just give you some feedback off some other stuff. So they had to take their time to
right.
really genuinely play the game, give honest feedback. But you have to have people who are knowledgeable of uh of and willing to be vulnerable, right? And have a different set of people outside of your network, right? Outside of your personal friend group. You said you had a social media group that you were able to send it to like 15 different people. And because you were willing to expand slowly, now instead of sending it out to everybody and having 350 people order it, right? And then of those 350 people saying, they can't see the items, they can't see the different businesses, they can't distinguish them. Now you were able to have a small cultivated group, and so that avoids people negatively leaving comments about your you know what I'm saying, about your business
Yep.
online, giving you a poor rating, blasting you on social media saying that this isn't, this is discriminatory based on
Mm,
ability, you know what I mean? So
yes.
I think that's important. It's an important piece to have in regards to the developmental piece that anybody is looking to start their own or to expand their idea that God has blessed them with. You still have to take your time in crafting and molding this particular blessing so that it's ready for public consumption. So I just wanted to point that out there. I appreciate you sharing that.
Exactly. Of course. And we teach that in our class to our students. And we call it, or it's called the MVP, minimum viable product, right? So before you get a commercially ready product, how can you get a MVP that you can get feedback on as soon as possible, right? You give it to a small audience base and you give them a survey, you give them some type of, or you conduct some type of focus group. You're able to collect early data before your product is 100% finished, right? But speaking of vulnerability and some mess ups, all right, I got to talk about some L's.
Talk, yo,
We got to talk about some L's.
talk about them, bro.
So Kickstarter is a platform that you can use if you have a new idea or game, specifically fashion brand, movie. There's all types of categories. But if you're trying to raise resources and capital for your company, for your idea, before your products are created, right? So it's like a glorified pre-order website that has some gamified mechanics, some marketing mechanics, all that good stuff. Um, we went on Kickstarter, right? And right before we went on Kickstarter, I had just watched a Dame Dash Breakfast Club interview. Legendary interview.
You ain't a boss. You're not a boss.
Exactly.
My son got cookies. You see cookies? He sell cookies. You are not a boss.
Exactly. And he why same thing. He was like, listen, if you're a boss, if you're real, you don't need to market your product. If you're real, the customer comes to you and the work speaks for itself. I'm like, yeah, we real. Black Wall Street, the board game. We got that good work. Hyping myself up 100%. So we started the Kickstarter, and out of the misguided support from Dame Dash virtually, never met the person, we didn't promote it. Right, we didn't necessarily have a huge email list. We weren't posting a lot on social media. We weren't sending text messages to all of our friends and DMing. We weren't doing all the Kickstarter stuff that you need to do to have a successful Kickstarter campaign. And how it works is you set the goal. And again, I thought we were real. I thought the work was good. I thought that people were going to support no matter what. So the goal we set was $28,000. My man is cracking up over here. The goal we set, and bro, from the jump, Sinclair was like, "That's too high." I was like, "Nah." Dame Dash said,
Dame Dash
Dame Dash said,
Dame said I could
"Listen, it's on the
Good
internet. It
deal.
has to be true. It's gonna sell itself, right? It's Black Wall Street. What we talking about, man?" So I set it for $28,000. You know how much we ended up raising after those 30 days?
How much?
Yeah, it was about $4,000.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Only,
So a
only
solid
about 24,000 short. That's it.
24 short. But how it works is if you don't raise the full money, all the money goes back to the backer. So no one lost money. But we didn't get the support that we wanted. And that was for sure a big gut punch, a big L at the beginning of the journey, right? Or towards the beginning of the journey. And right then we had the choice, right? All right, do we give up on this? Do we say, all right, well, we can't raise the money, so if we can't, pay $20,000 ourselves, then we're not going to do it, or do we find a way to get $20,000 and buy the first wave of games? Well, clearly, because we're still here, we're on the fourth edition. What we chose? We chose to put whatever money we got together. Chose to get a business credit card and bet on ourselves and get the first. I believe it was 350 games just out of our own pockets. And then within 3 months, right, by the Thanksgiving holiday, we had sold out of board games. So it was
let's sorry I keep interrupting you, but I
no,
think
this was
you're
for this.
dropping
Listen,
some
I'm a
gems.
guest.
No, you good. I feel like you're dropping some gems that I want to make sure that people who go back and see this, or people that are watching, can hopefully catch on to those. First off, what made you put 28,000 as the number? Like, why not 3,000? Why not 2,000? Why 28K?
So I was trying to get all 20 or all 350 games covered. Right. That was the goal. If we can get our first order 100% covered, including shipment and maybe a little extra for profit, that's a huge win. So that was the goal. Let's make sure this first 350 is not out of pocket whatsoever.
Yeah. So it wasn't just a random number, or like you trying to instantly like flip everything. It was more like, listen, I just want to sell out, maybe have a little bit of profit to be able to work with to pay for some other things. But it was like basically you were almost like right at the margin. You know what I'm saying? Essentially.
Right. Yep.
Okay. Minimal profit. And then when it didn't work out, of course, it was a gut blow. You know what I mean? But at that moment, you had to make a decision, because oftentimes I think when people, especially nowadays in our society, oh shoot, hold on, my dog. Simba, relax.
Simba getting these nuggets too. Listen.
Yeah, he getting these nuggets. But oftentimes I think, I think we look at society in our social media era. People tend to think it's going to be quick. It's going to be easy, or I'm going to hit on the first time, or they don't necessarily understand the amount of sacrifice it has to take. And so you deciding to purchase or not purchase, but to get a business credit, you know what I mean? And to be able to pay for those yourself means that you had to be in the red.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You had to be in the red for a while. And then eventually you had to work to get that, you know what I mean? To get that
Yep.
extra. You know, so as you can see, my sister in the background. Um,
Hey fam.
but you had to work to get that extra. You know what I'm saying? To make it back up. So it wasn't like somebody saw you and was like, "Oh, I like this idea. I'm going to invest in it." It was more like, "I love this idea. I'm
Yep.
passionate about this idea, and I'm willing to take the risk." And you were
Yep.
fully aware that with that risk, there is a chance that you could be successful, but there's also a chance that you could fail.
Facts.
And you're solely responsible, right? Well, you and the wife, you're solely responsible for the outcome of taking that risk. So I just wanted to point that out, and I appreciate you sharing that, with the community.
Oh yeah, of course. And I think something that even allowed me to do that was my personal credit was solid, right? Because
Mm,
again, the business had just started, so the business credit wasn't necessarily popping, right? Income wasn't necessarily coming in from the
right.
blog post, from our current YouTube channel. So that first business line of credit had to be personally guaranteed, and because my credit score was good at the time, and still good, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
were
yeah.
able to
Subtle
get
flex.
that line.
Subtle flex.
Hey, listen, credit is very in America. Make sure that credit score is always A1. All right.
Right.
But yeah, it was definitely a bet that I was willing to do. And if I can go backwards in the story, there was a particular reason why this idea I was willing to bet on. And I've had probably hundreds of ideas before in the past. One of which I'll tell you, uh, this was back in 2000 and probably 15, maybe 16. It was me, Vern, and Javon. We were coming up with an idea, and the idea was called Flux Audio. We were going to create some things that you can put in your ear with no cords attached that can connect to your phone, and you can listen to audio, control music, and you can even sometimes leave your phone at home and it can store music on it. This was in 2015. Well,
Interesting. Okay.
now what does everyone have in their ears, especially students inside of classrooms?
AirPods.
Hurt.
AirPods.
Hurt. Multi-billion-dollar industry. And if we would have gone through with it, if we would have submitted that patent, right? If we would have submitted that trademark, then we would have been able to maybe license that idea to Apple or manufacture it ourselves and become that
Mm.
manufacturer. So that was one idea that we 100% missed on. But
I love
now
that though. I love that
I don't.
because no,
What you mean you
I
love
was sitting on a yacht somewhere on an
for,
island that I own.
for
I
sure?
think I love it because I think it says that, God gives you multiple
Oh, for sure.
opportunities, right? To be able uh to expand. Multiple opportunities. And I think oftentimes people think, oh, this is my one shot. It doesn't work like that. You have if you are a creator, God gives you the ability to create. And if you have the ability to create one, you can create more. You know what I'm saying? So I love that.
Easily. And the reason why I knew Black Wall Street was the one was because shortly after I had the idea, me and the Queen, this was like a little bit after I proposed to her. I was picking her up from the Burbank airport, and we were about to drive up to, I believe, Santa Barbara, Solvang or something for a like a little spring break getaway. And this is when I was driving my 94 Pontiac Grand Am, first car that I ever got, 1200
Hey,
cash. I was
hey.
living good with that car. But we were driving down the street and we got smacked from the back from a car. We swerved, right? We missed a telephone pole, missed an electric pole, missed two cars that were parked on the side of the street, and somehow nestled in between a building and a telephone pole with
Mm,
no scratches on us. And I still have the stretch marks on my arm for not letting go of the wheel. And the wheel was literally bent in half,
wow.
right? Craziness. And I was like, all right. clearly I'm still here for a reason.
Mm,
So whatever idea was last in my phone is getting done. I scrolled through the phone. The last idea was Black Wall Street, the board game. I was like, here it is. Let's do it. Right. So
wow.
then we started the Kickstarter, flopped, and I was like, man, I'm a failure, man. But I still said, I already said I'm gonna do it. I'm here for something. I said I'm gonna do it. So no matter what, the game was getting created. It was going to be put inside of the universe. And I'm just thankful that I was able to live past that car crash and somehow bring Black Wall Street, the board game, to this earth, to this nation. It's been yeah, humbly, I think it's been an impact on some folks' lives already. I love, like, I was at the Taste of Soul. We were at the Taste of Soul last week, and there were people walking by like, hey, I had that game, right? We go to events like, hey, you play Black Wall, we have that game. And it's just dope. We're going to events trying to sell the game, but some people already have it, and we've never even met them in person before. So yeah, that was just an amazing feeling.
I love that. Something that you also, again, I'm just pulling out little gems for people to be able to have.
Mm-hmm.
You said, after you got into this car crash, you said the last thing that goal that you had written down, you were going to make sure you got that accomplished. And I think a lot of times, people, say that there's this phrase that says that, the most dreams are live in the graveyard. The best ideas live in the graveyard, or some sort. I'm
Mm-hmm.
paraphrasing. Um, and I think it's important that like people write down their ideas, their great ideas that they have, because you might, when God puts something on your mind, you're like, oh, okay, it's I got it. This is good. And then you don't write it down. And then a week later, you're like, what was that one thing? Man, it was dope,
Mm.
because you didn't write it down. And I think it's easy that people think their memory is better than what it is.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? I am blessed enough to know that my memory
Don't trust
is
your
is
brain.
trash.
Yep.
It's shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm blessed enough to know that I don't have a good memory. And so I tend to write. Like, people ask me about my wise words, where my wise word come from or something like that. Whenever I hear something, I just want to
Yeah.
show the folks back home. All of these are
Nuggets.
all wise words.
Nice.
All of these are all wise words that I heard. You know what I'm
Yeesh.
saying? So it's when you have this idea, this concept, or this thing that you're, this thing that God has put on you to be able to give to people, you want to write it down, because you don't know how it's going to impact you in the future. You don't know, you know, how this could potentially change your life. I mean, imagine if you didn't write this particular idea down. Maybe your previous idea was, what, I'm going to go play flag football.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You would have been a heck of a flag football player, but you
I
wouldn't
bet.
have you wouldn't have been able to you know what I'm saying, have play Black Wall Street, the board game. So
Facts.
I just want to also encourage people, man, write down your ideas, write down these things that may seem simple to you. A board game, right? That's what a board game. It
Yep.
seems simple, right, to you, and you think you're going to remember it, but in reality, you can forget it. So shout out to you for having that.
Oh yeah, and if I can riff off that a little bit even more, or another time where writing it down was very impactful, because some ideas, there's a particular time and place for them to be executed, right?
Hmm.
It may come to you in 2012 or 2023, but you shouldn't do it until 2030, 2050, 2070, right?
Right.
So there was an idea that me and the queen had. We were at Olive Garden with her parents, and the idea was like, what if you can order food cooked at somebody's house and it's delivered like right to your door,
Mm,
right? Like, so if you got bars, or you're able to cook some chili, you're able to cook some mole at the house, you can cook some gumbo, whatever it is, you have your family recipe. What if you can somehow package that up like a at-home restaurant and sell it on an app? And at the time, and I think this was maybe 2018, it wasn't legal to do that, but the idea
mm,
was written down. We searched for it. Oh, okay, it's not legal for, okay, for sure. We still wrote it down though.
right.
Years later, an article came across, I think Sinclair's phone, that says it's now legal in California for you to sell food from your house.
Mm,
And she was like, "Wait, what? Wasn't there an idea?" So went through our ideas. Boom, it was right there. We already had the idea. So then we started building an app where you can order food from someone's house and it can get delivered to you. There was phone calls, there was Google Maps integration, there was payment gateways, all that within the app. We built that thing from scratch. What was it called? What's that called? Glide. There we go. We use a platform called Glide Apps, which is a great no-code platform that you can use. You still have to integrate some APIs, but if you're trying to build an app, look at Glide Apps. Um, Unfortunately, that business didn't 100% work out because our main competitor had like millions of dollars of venture capital and we didn't. So it was hard to compete. And we were also at the time, launching Play Black Wall Street. And another possible lesson for you, right? Not only the timing of that idea, but me and the queen over probably a year had several conversations like, hey, we have this business, Potluck Kitchens, is doing pretty well. We have a couple kitchens. We're getting some orders. But we have this competitor who's outpacing us. And then we have Play Black Wall Street, where we don't necessarily have a direct competitor. And we're starting to see some traction. We're divided with our time, right? I was the technology person building the apps, doing customer service, while also for the board game doing speaking engagements and workshops. And it was tiring doing both, right? So we had to have several conversations like, which horse are we going to bet on? Right? If we had to choose, which one would we go 100% in? And again, it took a lot of back and forth discussions to give up a business, but eventually the queen was like, you know what? And it had to be her decision because Play Black Wall Street was my idea. Potluck was basically her business. So I didn't want to say this is what we're doing. I was like, hey, queen, is your choice. Let me know which one do you want to back. Let's go full fledged, 100%. And she was like, yeah, based on where we're going, our expertise and competition, I think Play Black Wall Street is going to be the better horse to bet on right now. And we did it. We dropped Potluck and we've been going with Play Black Wall Street. And that year, we had just crossed six figures for the first time. And she had just quit her job and was working for Play Black Wall Street full time. And I can rewind and tell that story if we need to. So it was difficult to, I think, give up on Potluck, which was one of her dreams, was one of her babies, in order to basically fully support my dream and Play Black Wall Street. But I think it was the better choice because we've doubled, tripled since making that decision.
I think, obviously, I love y'all's story, and which is, why I love picking your brain up a lot about these things and stuff like that. I think one of the important things to have is to have somebody who genuinely uh, understands the vision,
Mm-hmm.
as a part of your team. And for some people, it could be their partner. For some people, it could be a friend, whatever. But just having somebody who understands the vision, I think that's super critical towards the success of any, of any idea to the completion of any idea,
Right.
um, because she could have been very selfish, right? With her, and it would have been within her right to do so. She's like, no, I helped you, with Play Black Wall Street when this was your idea. Now I have an idea that I want to see successful. Why not? Why are we not investing 28,000 into this? Like when we
No,
know.
no, no. We did. So hold on, hold on,
Okay,
hold on, hold on.
we
We did.
invested. We did.
We invested. I do want to make that part clear. We were
Okay,
we were
good, good, good.
fully we were fully in alignment and we were full fledged in Play Black Wall Street. We had and sorry, in Potluck community, we had a squad. See, my mind is just directly Play Black Wall Street.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
We had a squad. I liquidated some assets to invest. Like it, we were for sure
yeah.
in there, but we got to a point where it was like, all right, well, we're down to our last 30, 40.
Hmm.
We can put 40 into Play Black Wall Street, or we can do 2020 and we'll see what happens. And it was like, what's going to be the better business move? Putting 40 in one or putting 20 in two?
Right, right. And I think having a person who's willing to see the vision through, you know what I'm saying, and recognize the vision and believing in it just as much as you did. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Just as much as you do. I just want to commend, her on doing that. It's just like you did. She could have been selfish. She could have said no. She could have said, well, let's do 2020. For all y'all that be talking about 50-50, in there, she
Right.
she said, let's do 100-100. That's what she said. Let's
Yeah.
do 100 towards, Black Wall Street, because again, y'all wait, and I think you all literally did like a cost analysis. Like you broke it down. You really said, what is our best chance at success right now?
Yeah.
We could pretend, we could, fantasize about how we think it's going to be. We could talk about if this grows, if our competitor decides to pull out and no longer invest those millions of dollars in case they wanted to get, what I mean, they just got tired of the work. If, but there's this famous saying that said, if ifs were fifths, we'd all be drunk, right? And so y'all weighed the pros and the cons and said, you know what? This has already proven to be successful. Let's just go with what's already proven to be successful. And we
Right.
can come back later if there's still an opportunity. You know what I mean? We can always come back to it if it's really what we're passionate about. But let's go where the success is right now. So shout out
Right.
to Queen Sinclair, because that right there could have been a make or break year. It could have been a make or break moment. And I think what people oftentimes fail to understand is that it's a gradual climb
Mm-hmm.
up Mount Everest. It's not a fast climb. And when we talk about the Mount Everest, it's success. One, success is what you make it. One, but then two, no matter what you make it, it's still going to take time to get there. You don't just wake
Right.
up and all of a sudden 20,000 people want your board game. You don't wake up and do that. What happens is one day it's 10 people, then it's 20 people, then it's maybe 50 people.
Yeah.
But all of these times, you're still investing 100% of your time. So it's that important. So I just love that. I love that for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We got some really great advice, and I think she was may have been acting on this advice when she made that decision. Our first year we went to Tulsa Black Wall Street in 2021 for the 100-year commemoration of Tulsa Black Wall Street massacre. We got to meet some of the last living survivors of Tulsa Black Wall Street. Of course, walk around the Greenwood and meet some of the business owners there. And one business owner was talking to her, pulled her to the side and was like, "Listen, there's going to be moments in your marriage where you gotta let the king shine. He's gonna be out in front. He's getting the attention, and there's gonna be a moment or moments in your marriage where y'all gonna switch. You're gonna be in front. It's gonna be your season, your time, and you're gonna be getting the attention. And as partners in this, you need to know when is your time to shine and when is your time to support." Right. And I think we're in a season where it's my time to shine in the sense that my dream is in the forefront and my dream is what's kind of leading. But I'll always check in. Hey, Queen, what are your dreams? What are you trying to work on? All right, cool. We're gonna start making small steps towards that, and then get ready for that gear switch. Right. Once we build the team, once we're able to kind of be in not autopilot, but it doesn't require so much of my face time and so much of my energy. Now we can gear switch to, okay, you want to do health coaching, you want to do a travel agency, you want to do a resort. Like, what is that you want to do? Boom. Let's do it because we have a strong foundation now. So yeah, huge shout out to the queen. I think that's something that definitely helps. Speaking of the queen, how you doing, lovely? Did you hear us talking about you?
She felt the
Oh,
spirit. She
yeah,
said,
she
she said, somebody is talking about how dope I am. Let
yeah.
me come down and
You
see
you
what's
recognize the voice.
I do. I do.
what's going on, family. How
Hello.
you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. We was literally just complimenting you on how dope you are. So your ears must have been ringing because we was definitely talking about how amazing it is to have somebody that believes in the vision, that's fully
Mhm.
invested, fully committed, super not only supportive but willing to do the work. In that
Literally.
sense,
Where
like
you coming back from?
Yeah, I was just at the it was a conference for the Black Chamber of Commerce Inland Empire. So it was like an all-day conference, real good conference. They talked about finance, taxes. I was taking notes in the back.
Mhm.
Luckily I was vending in the back, but we were able to see the whole conference. So yeah, it was an all-day event. We sold out though. It was a
Come
success.
on.
Made some good connections. Possibly another interview to go on. So
Nice.
yeah, it was dope.
Just got back from work and I appreciate you. We
Yes.
were going over the story of potluck and how we needed to make that RIP potluck. we needed to make that decision.
Yeah, you could tell she felt that in her soul. She,
Yeah.
she gave it hard.
It's mixed emotions because I feel like it's like, dang, like that didn't. It was a quote unquote failure, right, in the grand scheme of it. But I'm also like, we learned a lot from that
For sure.
experience. So yeah, it makes me feel good too because I feel like all successful business owners have at least one failed business. So I'm like, okay, got one under the belt.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Exactly.
Certified.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. We appreciate you.
Yes, ma'am.
Of course, thank you.
Man. All right, where are we at in the story? I feel like I've been jumping all around. We're definitely time traveling. I
mean, but
apologize
that's
for
cool
the
because you dropping gems throughout the whole time. So we were talking about, we basically left off at the accident. You had, after that you completed the first, the first thing that was on your list for the Play Black Wall, which was Play Black Wall Street, and you kind of been full throttle ever since then. That's pretty much where we originally left off at. Where I just wanted to pause and talk about, that.
Yeah. So I mean. I do want to kind of tell the story on how the Queen became full time, right? Because I think that was definitely a game changer for us. Prior to the Queen becoming full time, we were both working 9-to-5 jobs, right? So she graduated UC Davis chemical engineering degree, so she was getting paid big money, big money. Especially compared, no disrespect to my social science people, but I was a sociology major.
Same.
We was in here, first job in education. I wasn't making engineering money. All right. So she was definitely probably making almost 2 times my income at the time when we were first getting together or first getting married.
Wait, let's
we're gonna unpack that. Listen, let's do it.
Unpack that because we're living in a society right now where people are talking about, again, the going 50-50 and you have to make as much as me or more or this and that. And I think the sad part about those kinds of conversations are I don't feel like they're genuine conversations about character and quality of person. They're conversations about what can you do for me, right? And to my knowledge, the people that I know that have had successful marriages, successful relationships, quality people like yourselves, because I do know y'all's story, none of that stuff mattered, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like people, they're like, who are you as an individual? Because you could be making $300,000 a year, but if you don't have any character, doesn't matter. I can't work with that. Versus you could be making $30,000 a year, but if you have good character, if you have good morals, if you are a genuine, kind person, if you're somebody who's willing to learn and grow and develop with me, I can work with that. I can work with that. So I just wanted to highlight again. I feel like this is like a Sinclair bragging session, boy. Like I want to highlight because she wasn't worried about the money because she recognized the value was in the individual, not the material that the individual came with at that time. Just wanted to highlight that.
Oh yeah, and it can even go back when we first met, right? I was again UC Davis freshman year. I was working 3 jobs. I was broke, right? Freshman year, sophomore year, moved out. And I have a line in a song back when I was a rapper in my past life, right?
Talk about it.
Back in the day. But the line says, in 012, I was sleeping on a mattress on the floor, bed frame, I didn't have it. EBT sponsored food all up in my cabinets. Love will make a boozy chick live just like a savage. Right? Like I was literally sharing
up.
But listen, that back in the day, I retired now. All right. But living in a bedroom, it was me, it was Daniel, right? One of my groomsmen at a wedding, his lady, me, my lady, my bed mattress was on the floor, no furniture except a 2-drawer dresser that I got from the garbage can. All right, that's literally all I had. EBT was like 120 a month. So I was like, listen, we can't really go on like dates, but I can cook for you. You come through the house, I can throw down. I can whip it up. And she's a real woman because she was like, hey, listen, I can cook too. Right? You buy the groceries, I'll cook the groceries. is good. We started selling chicken and waffles, and anyway, let me not stop talking about that. Anyway, like from the beginning, it was, I know this man doesn't have a lot of money, but I appreciate his character from the beginning, right? And I think that's another thing that we have a possible leg up, is we have known each other since we were both 18, right? So we had time to develop. And maybe you're meeting somebody at 25, maybe you're meeting someone at 30, maybe you're meeting someone at 40. But I believe my perspective and definition of love is when you meet someone who's growing at the same rate as you, right? If you plotted the points on a scatter graph and you put your growth, you put their growth, hopefully it's at the same slope, the same acceleration. And that's one of my definitions of love. But fast forwarding back again, the queen was working her good job, making good money, but the pandemic hit, you know, things shifted a little bit. She was feeling the stress at work. Her job responsibilities actually increased. She got a promotion, but she didn't feel like she was loving the job. And there was one day we were just sitting on that couch, right? And she was like, I hate my job. I don't want to go back. And then I was like, all right, listen, we got the business. I have my job. We had purchased our first home at the time, so we did have a mortgage. I was like, if we make some slight adjustments, I think you can quit your job and you work full time for Play Black Wall Street. So she took some time. She thought about that, and I think she came back like 2 days later, 3 days later, like, so were you serious? Yeah, I'm out. Doses.
It's over.
Yeah, she was like,
you get a Vince Carter. It's over.
Man, yeah. So she was like, listen, I'm good. Like the money is good, but I want to protect my stress. I want to protect my peace, my spirit. So if that offer still stands, if I can quit the job and we can make some adjustments, I'm willing to do it. And one of those adjustments where we moved out of our house, we rented it out, and then we moved in with my grandma at the time. And we stayed there. We stacked up money, and we had to do that because, again, income had just been cut in half, right? So we couldn't afford the mortgage at the time. So it was like, all right, let's move somewhere else. Let's have someone else pay the rent, pay the mortgage for us, and then let's move in with grandma. She still charges $500 a month for rent, but that's doable. And we're gonna stack up until we can buy another house. And that's what we did for 2 years, stacked up for those 2 years. During that time, we were able to gain contracts because the queen was working full time for the business. So the email was always, you know, being looked at. A couple other opportunities came up that I can definitely tell a story about. But long story short, we were able to, in those 2 years, stack up the money and then purchase another house. And now that's where we're at right now. And I think that bet on ourselves, on hiring the queen, quit your job, bring your talents, bring your genius to Play Black Wall Street full time, is what allowed us to get to 6 figures and then beyond.
So again, I feel like this is, going to be like a Sinclair praise episode, basically. But
hey,
I think
as it should be,
as it should be,
as it should be.
I think that what I'm hearing is that she said, I believe in you. I understand. I trust you. I love your character. I support you. I see the vision, and I'm willing to hold you down.
Yep.
Later on, right? She's like, listen, what I'm going through right now is tough. So now I need you to support me. And it means that we're going to take a dip financially, but you're going to gain somebody. You're going to gain twice the momentum in regards to the business in your vision, even though financially right now we're going to take a dip. And I think that had you not appreciated her character, her morals, her value, had you not truly understood and loved her for who she was, as opposed to the way that she could benefit you financially, you would have been like, what you mean you walking away from this? This engineer money. What this here? What? We got a mortgage. We got a mortgage to pay. Nah, we not about to. And y'all both, because y'all have that true, genuine love and appreciation, y'all like, man, look, we're gonna live with fam. Pay this little bit of money, stack up the cheese. Now we ain't spending. We can rent out our place. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how much you rented out, maybe we might be able to get a little extra from that too off the top. So
Yep.
I want to encourage people, one, to recognize the little signs that are happening as you're listening to this story. And again, because I know we almost out of time here. We're going to do this quite often so we can reflect on those little things that people often miss because they're so busy looking at your highlights. They're so busy looking at all the great things that y'all are doing, but they don't recognize all the struggle. You had a mattress on the floor, bro.
Yep. That's it.
And St. Clair was still there with you because she valued who you were.
Yeah.
She saw what you believed in, and she said, I'm willing to support you through that. You had just gotten into a car accident. Your life was almost taken, right? But you said, you know what? Some people could have used that opportunity to give up. You know what I'm saying? They could have said, man, I almost died, man. It's whatever. There was a story that I think I might have shared before where there's two sons. One, they're both their fathers. There's two sons. They're brothers. Their dad was an alcoholic. One became an alcoholic because his dad was an alcoholic. The other chose to never drink alcohol because their dad was an alcoholic. So for you all, you had an idea after you got into this accident. You could have said, you know what, man, I'm tired of this. Like, bro, I just want to have fun because life is short. You never know. This could have been my time to go. So I'm going to just party and have a good time. But instead you said, no, life is short. I'm going to make the most of it. So that last thing that I have on my list, the last goal that I wrote down, I'm going to make sure I accomplish it. So I want people to get those small nuggets that are in there, those gems that are in your story that they might miss because they're so busy looking at you on your climb, because you're definitely not at the top of the mountain yet. You on your way. You know what I'm saying? You just hitting the beginning, but I want them to see, because even though you're not at the top of your mountain, they're still looking up at you because they're not where you are right now, but they are where you started.
Yeah.
They're the same place where you started. And so I just want them to get that.
Oh yeah, that's love. And I think there was a different level of confidence and appreciation when somebody else was willing to bet fully on me. Right? Like me betting on me, you're supposed to do that. Right? But her having the trust of, okay, I believe in your vision enough to leave my well-paying job to work for the company, give my time with the hopes of the vision. And one day I'm gonna be able to get a better paying job within Play Black Wall Street. One day we'll make enough to then get a house. Like, she knew, like, oh no, this is gonna be successful. I'm willing to bet my position and my lifestyle on this dream. And I think if you find somebody like that, whether it is your life partner, it could be your best friend, it can be a parent who's just willing to bet on you, I think it just charges you up different, right? It charges you up different. At least it made me move different, send more emails, be willing to do more speaking engagements, because it's not just me riding on this. It's not just me betting on this. It's also my queen. So yeah, huge shout out to the queen. Episode 1 or part 1 of this conversation, all about the queen. I'm loving it.
My man Tay, man, he said that part 100%, man. 100%. Definitely. First off, shout out to you, Tay, for joining on the Facebook Live, man. I mean the YouTube Live. Appreciate you subscribing, bro, and always tapping in. But absolutely, man. When that energy that a person gets, especially like a man that gets when somebody else believes in the vision, man. When somebody else is like, I'm willing to go to bat for you, it goes a long way. And it's not even just in regards to creating something, right? But like for me, even when a counselor sat me down and said, you're smart, I believe that you can go to college. Let me help you fill out this college application. It's a different feel. I always tell people, you know what I'm saying? My mom, from the time I was a baby, a toddler, she always spoke positive words to me, bro. She was telling me when I was a toddler, you're a king. You're gonna do great things. Like, and when she would talk to me, she would tell me, like, I'm disappointed because I expected more from you. You know what I'm saying? And so when you have somebody that's invested in who you are, you feel charged up. It's a battery in your back. and you ready to go. So I want to definitely, I appreciate you again, Queen, for doing that for my bro. We're at an hour. So any last comments? Because I feel like right now we probably hit about 5% of the story. And again, this is going to be for all my subscribers, all my folks that's listening. This is going to be an ongoing conversation that he and I are going to have, because it's an ongoing journey for him. But we want to continue to leave y'all with little information that you could potentially take and hope encourage you. But any last minute words that maybe you want to leave the folks with before we head out for the evening?
Man, I would say if you've been thinking about starting something, right? You have it written down, or you talk to friends about it, start it. Create whatever that MVP, minimum viable product version of your company, of your idea could be, and just get it started. One of the biggest things that I learned in investing from one of my friends is it's not about timing the market, or it's not about finding the perfect timing. It's about time in the market, how long you've been invested in a stock, in a mutual fund, or in a portfolio. And I think that's what we see when we see Eric Thomas start to pop off, when we see Inky Johnson start to pop off. These aren't overnight successes. These are people who've been doing work for years. They just started early, been doing work for years, and now that they're 10 years in, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years in, now everybody knows them. So I would say start your process as soon as you can. Of course, tap in with us. Play Black Wall Street. You can tap in with us with the board game. PlayBlackWallStreet.com, on Instagram. PlayBlackWallST. And yeah, looking forward to coming back. Josiah, you supported our Black Future Month panels for years. You come on our podcast for years, so I appreciate all you being a consistent pillar for us to lean on for great content and wisdom, and happy to return the favor.
It's love, bro. Thank you, man, for real. And y'all know I'm looking forward. I'm when y'all decide to do the event in person, let me know, bro. Because like
It's
I
in
said,
person.
I'm gonna get out there, man. I'm excited for it.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be in Riverside. I got a location already locked in.
Let's go.
It's in
Let's
Riverside.
go.
Let's
I'm
go.
excited, man. And shout out to my man Tay, man. He said big gems being dropped. I know we had quite a few folks that was on the IG live. I didn't really engage too much with the comments today, but definitely shout out to BC, shout out to Ralph. Of course, shout out to Queen Sinclair, hopped in for a minute. She said easiest decision she ever made when we talked about her quitting the job, you know what I'm saying? And she said she's here for it for sure when we talked about, praising her. So shout out to sis, man. Appreciate y'all. D, man, I appreciate you joining, and I'm looking forward to continuously unpacking your journey to leave people with those little nuggets. But again, make sure y'all subscribe to the Play Black Wall Street channel on Instagram. Subscribe to them. Definitely purchase their game. They're doing some big things, and if you follow them on Instagram, you'll be able to see it. You know what I mean? And I'm excited for y'all, man.
Love. Let's do it.
All right, man. I'm gonna leave y'all as I always leave y'all, man, with a we fresh, and I love you. Y'all take care.